We were the first women's organization and first advocacy organization in Singapore.
That time I wouldn't necessarily have called myself feminist. I don't like labels, and it wasn't it wasn't fashionable to call yourself feminist.
None of us were feminists at that time. We've hardly read any books on women's issues. We were not what we call educated feminists.
I presume it would have been Vivian and Zybun because they were the co-organizers. Two of them basically decided to organize this forum at NUSS.
The great marriage debate at that time was a subject that irritated a lot of us, a lot of women especially. So I knew the forum was coming, and I had every intention of attending it.
There was this continuing anger about the eugenics approach to population and all these issues.
And so are we all going to go home and sit around for another 10 years and then come back and let off another lot of steam?
And if we just sat there and presented our papers and had tea and gone away, what's the point? So people were just fed up of this, and there was enough anger to drive us into taking the next step, which is to get organized.
Oh, the early aware meetings were hilarious, and we had a lot of fun, and we were just very boisterous at our meetings.
Choice of president, we decided that we wanted someone to have an acceptable, as mainstream as possible. And it was naturally Lena, because Chinese, majority of the population, married with 2 kids. And so that's how Lena became the first president,
Comments were made about that Aware were anti-men, that we were unhappy, unmarried women who had nothing better to do than to stir up public issues.
The challenge that Aware took on was to find ways to take issue with the policies that we felt were wrong for Singapore.
I think it has changed. I think things have changed. Certainly in the areas of violence in the home. I think today the police accepts and the government accepts that violence in the home is not something to be tolerated. And I think Aware had been very instrumental in getting that very, very difficult message through.
We set out to give voice to issues which the policymakers were not paying sufficient attention to, were looking at in the wrong way. And we've succeeded in getting them to pay more attention. And this can only continue. And I think it would be for Singapore's good if it continues.